Oh my God. There you go. No volume. I'm sorry. I had to Here's the deal. Okay, welcome into the High Noon stream. The stream happens every Monday through Friday, noon to 2. It's the first of two streams that I do every day. High Noon here, which deals with hot topics, current events, headlines, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the Pillow Talk show that comes on at 9 p.m. Central Time. That's Monday through Thursday. And it's Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. That's more conversational. That involves guests. That's a whole different kind of thing. This one here, what you're listening to or watching or however it is that you're doing. Can you see the dog in the background? CeeLo. Look right there. Look right in the corner. CeeLo, come here. Come here. There. Go lay down. Please. See, it's the dog. Please go lay down. Go lay down. Oh, shake your fleas at me. Go lay down. The dog is being troubling today. I do apologize. Okay, so welcome into High Noon. I do apologize. I had to deconstruct much of the studio again today because I believe it's a kid's weekend, although I don't have confirmation on when I'm getting him. So, to that end. Happy summer. Welcome to summer. That's basically how I'll start this little part of the conversation. It is a Friday in the summer, and I am just letting everyone know. Today was just 15 minutes. That's not a big deal. Well, at least not to me. I hope it's not a big deal to you. But the Friday shows will be a little bit hinky from here on out, at least throughout the summer, because I will be having my kid from time to time. Will be more involved in other things that have to get done around here on Fridays. So some Friday shows will not be full 2 hours. Some Friday shows may not start right at the top of the hour. Hell, some Friday shows may not even happen. I do apologize, but summer rules around here. It's the summertime. I have no intention of giving this up. There's not going to be like suddenly he's taking Wednesdays off. No. Don't worry about that. It's just fair warning that Fridays here on the High Noon Show are going to be just a little bit hinky for the next couple of months because the schedules are changing, and there's there's going to be swim camps that, people need to be dropped off at and may not get me here in time at noon. There's going to be weightlifting classes. There's all kinds of like new things that are going to just sort of disrupt the natural timing of what would be but only on Fridays. I'm anticipating that this will only be on Fridays. And I also might take a vacation. I might take like a week off, but I'm sure you guys will live. You're not going to die. There's talk of a camping trip, which, left to my own devices, no, I do not want to go on a camping trip. But there was talk of a camping trip involving the people who live across the yard, the masters of the 1%er compound that we go here. There was some conversation about we should do this. So maybe that's in the offering this summer. Maybe, and if that's the deal, I'll go camping with them. Because those people, I like to talk about the rich people who live across the yard. They go camping, like, I'm sure it'll be awesome. I'm sure it'll be like an Airstream with air conditioning and everybody's got private pods. I don't know. Middle of the Grand Canyon in some ancient Indian burial ground that only certain people get access to. It'll be something like that. So, but at most, that's the big announcement. That Fridays from here on out are going to be a little bit hinky-jinky, and I'll let y'all know if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter or any of those other things. We'll give you plenty of notice on it, but I do apologize for the late start today. Okay, let's get into what today is here on High Noon. It is June the 10th. It is the 161st day of the year. Let me see here. There are 204 days remaining until the end of the year. Brady says, if you want confirmation that you hate camping, camp here in the summer. I know, right? No, it's like I said, this camping trip is going to be a more of an expedition, I would think, possibly, than a camping trip. Oh, because there was talk of going places, and I don't just mean like outside Waco, like going places. Like, let's go live in the ancient tombs of I don't know, like where all those ancient Indians lived in New Mexico in the cliff sides. Let's go live in a cliffside, something like that. It'll be fun. It'll be an experience. Won't just be a regular camping trip where I will most likely be eaten by a bear, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I possess the skill set to be able to follow the rules with camping safely, especially in a place where there's animals. I don't know. I don't like. I'm not gonna seal the lid on the food container that needs to be like air sealed so the bears can't get at it. Yeah, that's not good for me. It's the same reason I won't go scuba diving. There's nothing that I'm gonna screw up on one of the steps while scuba diving, and I'll have that thing where the bubble goes to your brain, and you're never the same again. That scuba diving thing. I don't know. No. Kojak, they ain't got bears in Waco. They don't. I don't think they do. Do they have other than Baylor bears? I mean, they don't have real bears down in Waco, dude. There's no bears in Texas. Don't tell me there's bears in Texas. I had to escape the upper Great Lakes to. Well, not that we have bears in Chicago. Ironically enough, there haven't been bears along the Chicago portion of Lake Michigan for probably 200 years. But there's bears in Wisconsin. There's stuff like that. Yeah, so I just don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Brady says, we camp every month and love it, but I get that it isn't the same for others. Here's what I'll say, Brady. I have respect for the camper, and I have enough respect for the camper to be able to say that I don't take it seriously enough to be a safe camper. I just don't see it. All right, let's get into what today is in history. On this day in 1935, Dr. Dr. Robert Smith, takes his last drink at Alcoholics Anonymous, and founds Alcoholics Anonymous in Akron, Ohio, with him and Bill Wilson. Bill Wilson, that must be the friend of Bill guy, right? Isn't that the thing? Isn't that the thing? I don't know. I've never been to Alcoholics Anonymous. Actually, that's not true. I was forced to go when I was in a car accident. I was like 16 years old. Part of my deal, to avoid conviction or whatever, was that I had to go to like 16, 17 years old. And they send me every Monday. I got to go to this like Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in like a church basement, somewhere. And it's just me. I'm 16. I'm not an alcoholic, Okay, so there was an accident that involved some degree of underage drinking. But I mean, I'm not an alcoholic. And they just sat me in these meetings with these like old, really hardcore alcoholics with like all these really hardcore stories. Maybe, hey, I don't know. I'm kind of making fun of it, but maybe that's why I don't drink much today. I don't know. Maybe it definitely impacted me. I was like, oh my God, would you look at these people? But it impacted me to the point where I was outraged because I'm like, I don't belong here. It's my turn for story time. Look, when I tell a story, I like to have the room. I can promise you that there is not a story that my 16-year-old body can conjure that can be anything like what Lou just told. I mean, it was crazy. I felt competitive. And that's why it worked. That's why I don't drink today. I mean, I drink. If I go out, I'll have a hell of a drink or two, but I'm not really a big drinker, not around the house. It's a social tool. It's a tool to fit in for me. I don't know. Hey, I'll have a beer every once in a while. I go out for a run during the day and it's really hot. I'll come in and I'll grab a cold beer, but just one, because they got like 140 calories. It's like, what? I just ran and now I'm going to put all these calories in me just because a cold beer would taste awesome right now. On this day in 19, here we go. This is a nice little bolt of history that makes us appreciate who we are and how we won the national lottery or genetic lottery, whatever you want to call it. On this day in 1944, during World War II, 642 men, women, and children are massacred at Oradour-sur-Glane in France. Also on this day in 1944, during World War II, in Distomo, Boeotia, this is in Greece, 218 men, women, and children are massacred by German troops. Also on this day in 1944, in baseball, 15-year-old Joe Nuxhall of the Cincinnati Reds becomes the youngest player ever in Major League Baseball. All three things happened on this day in 1944. I mean, if that's the American privilege right there, that's the promise of America. That is something that we do not respect anymore. That on the very same day that people, children, women, were being slaughtered by Nazis in what are relatively civilized societies, at least at the time we thought they were, And over here in America, Joe Nuxall, 15-year-old, is the youngest player ever in Major League Baseball. It's just, it's America. There you go. Appreciate that shit. My God. Think about that. Same day, some kid had his life changed for the positive because he was 10 years old and he was in attendance at Joe Nuxall's debut as the youngest player. Whatever. Some kid in America was at that game, and that game made an impression on them. And then somewhere else across the globe, another 10-year-old is being gunned down by Nazi soldiers with her mom and dad, and crazy. Appreciate America. Appreciate what we have here. Okay, on this day in 1963, the Equal Pay Act of 1963, aimed at abolishing wage disparity based on sex, was signed into law by JFK. Fixed it, gals. There you go. They fixed the wage disparity thing in 1963. I don't know what you're complaining about. We've been following this. So a couple of days ago, we commemorated the anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King. We talked about James Earl Ray. Then, like a couple of days later, James Earl Ray was also mentioned in the history segment of the show because he had been caught at London Heathrow Airport. And that's where I said, boy, I've even been to the Lorraine Hotel there. I've been to the Civil Rights Museum. I thought I knew the story, but I didn't know anything about James Earl Ray. Like, I didn't know. I mean, I guess I just assumed they got him minutes after he killed, Martin Luther King. But I guess they didn't because, he was captured in Heathrow in London at London's Heathrow Airport. So he got out of the country. He got away. He survived the moment, which I guess I never really knew about. So now here comes news today in 1977. James Earl Ray escaped from prison. He escaped from Brushing Mountain State Prison in Tennessee. He was on the run for 3 days. This guy, hi, Tiffany Haynes is here. He was on the run for 3. This guy, slippery. There's a story about what an arch villain James Earl Ray actually was. He wasn't just some. I think we like to marginalize him as just some awful, horrible man who changed the course of human history with one bullet over racism. And I think there's more. I think there's something going on here. He got to London. He got out of the country. Killed Martin Luther King. He got out of the country. And then years later, he escapes from prison. He's an escape guy. All right, I'm just saying. I don't know anything about James Earl Ray. Apparently, he's got some interesting things in his past. None of them good. I mean, none of them are good. I'm just saying it's an interesting guy. On this day in 2009, 88-year-old James Wanneker von Braun opens fire inside the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and fatally shoots museum special officer Stephen Tyrone Johns. Other security guards returned fire, wounding von Braun, who was apprehended. All right, so I don't even know if I remember that. I put it in here because I feel like I should remember that. Somebody shot up the Holocaust Museum. Okay. Maybe I kind of remembered that. Let's see here. On this day in 2019, a helicopter crashed into the AXA Equitable Center on 7th Avenue in Manhattan. I remember that. I remember when the helicopter crashed into the building. That was on this day in 2019. All right, let's do some birthdays. Born on this day in 1922. Here's a big one. Judy Garland. Judy Garland, for I think most people, is Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. But man, there's an older generation where she's like big. She was like in a lot of stuff. Like she's considered an icon. But I mean, Gen X, I come from the 80s. Here's what I know about Judy Garland. I know that Wizard of Oz, and I know that she's a crazy drunk, like Bill Poppin, and she was just like she was a mess, and she died at a relatively young age. She's younger than I am now, probably. I don't know, maybe she died around my age, but she died at a young age because she was just like she was a mess, but beloved. And all I know is Wizard of Oz, and she's Liza Minnelli's mom. There you go. So, Mickey Jones, born on this day in 1941. Mickey Jones, American drummer. I love Mickey Jones. Mickey Jones was a regular on our old radio show. Here, let me pull up a picture of Mickey Jones, because Mickey Jones is one of those dudes where he's one of those, that guy. He's one of them, what they call a that guy actor. Let me but he's also a musician, and he had some of the greatest stories, boy. He toured. He was friends with Hendrix, and he just did all kinds of like Kenny Rogers. He was in Kenny Rogers' band. He just here. Okay, we'll show you. He's one of them that guy actors. You guys know him. He played like every cool ass enlightened hillbilly character that was ever in a show between like 1970 and 2010. He's one of the classic that guy actors. All right, there you go. There's Mickey Jones, right? We all remember Mickey. Let me tell you a little bit about Mickey Jones, just so we don't get it. Here we are. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I had to reorganize a bunch of stuff today. So doing the show slightly differently. Let's give the cool ass Mickey Jones his due on his birthday. He was an American musician and actor. He played drums with such acts as Trini Lopez, Bob Dylan. Let's see, and he played on his 1960. Sorry, let me try this again. Was an American musician and actor. He played drums with acts such as Trini Lopez and Bob Dylan, with whom he played on his 1966 world tour. He became the founding member of the First Edition with singer Kenny Rogers and played on all of their albums. Overall, Jones played on 17 gold records from his musical career over 2 decades. After the breakup of the First Edition in 1976, that was Kenny Rogers' band, Kenny Rogers and the First Edition. Jones concentrated on his career as a character actor, where he made many appearances in film and television. This guy, he was one of those dudes. He was booked so many times on our show that he just kind of became the default booking. And I don't think that in the first, 10 interviews that I had with Mickey Jones that I really appreciated him. And then finally it just dawned on me. It's like, why not just let this guy tell stories? And that's what he did. He told stories about partying with Jimi Hendrix. He told stories about getting into a fist fight with Kenny Rogers in Deep Ellum, back in 1969 or whatever. He was just a fascinating guy. He passed away in 2018, but man, what a life. What a life the great Mickey Jones led. Born on this day in 1953, John Edwards. Hey, there's a fellow who knows how to sit on the bench, right? Remember John Edwards? His sex scandal that knocked him out of the presidential race was so tepid by, all of the allegations that we've heard being thrown around in the last, 10 years or so. But John Edwards, he knows how to sit on the bench. Sorry, thirsty. Rich Hall is celebrating a birthday today. Now, Rich Hall, he was like a comedian. Do you remember Sniglets? That was his thing, right? Rich Hall, he was like the big, and Sniglets were here. I'll show you what Sniglets were. I've actually got a Sniglets video that I can share with you, just so you can remember. Here, let's bring her up. Let's enjoy some Sniglets on what is today Rich Hall's birthday. And then we'll talk a little bit about the great Rich Hall.
Hi, I'm Rich Hall. Ever since we asked you to start sending in your Sniglets, we've been literally swamped. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for helping to change the face of the English language as we know it. Now, this month's Sniglets. Ever order an item in the mail and find it accompanied by about 10,000 wads of styrofoam? Well, these are called spagmumps. L-acceleration is the mistaken notion that the more you press the elevator button, the faster the elevator will arrive. However, this seldom works. Those strange people that show up in the photo sections of brand new wallets are called lamanites. The strange twist that a dog's head makes when he hears a high-pitched noise is called a twinge.
Well, why is that funny?
Snuffing is that little game that waitresses love to play, of waiting until your mouth is full of food before coming up to you and saying,
"So, is everything all right?" Huh?
By all means, keep those Sniglets coming. Address them to Sniglets, Post Office Box 27901, Hollywood,
all right,
California.
So there you go. That's Rich Hall celebrating a birthday today, born in this day in 1954. I remember Sniglets being so funny. I thought Sniglets were hysterical. And now I'm seeing, as somebody who tries to create content, I saw what he was doing. He came up with an idea. He probably thought of the first 20, and then he decided to have people write in. He had writers writing in their sniglets, and then he just performs them as a bit. He also did books. He made a lot of money off the whole sniglets thing. And I'll tell you something else about Rich Hall. I think, first of all, Rich Hall was a very funny stand-up comedian. Is he still alive? I think he still is. He was a very funny stand-up comedian. Sniglets is certainly what he was best known for, but it wasn't really all he did. He was a stand-up. And I think that it was Rich Hall who changed David Letterman's career. I think that it was Rich Hall and Rich Hall's performance as a stand-up comedian in the late 70s, early 80s that informed that sort of snarky, deadpan David Letterman sort of attitude of the 80s and into the 90s. I think I think David Letterman looked at Rich Hall and went, all right, I like his delivery. I like what he's doing. Yeah, so there you go. Rich Hall, he did Sniglets, and I believe he had something to do with shaping who David Letterman would become. Happy birthday, Rich Hall. Nobody really knows who you are, but you have made contributions, at least in my estimation. Okay, we got Kim Deal. Kim Deal is celebrating a birthday, born in 1961, American singer, songwriter, and musician. Of course, Kim Deal from the Pixies, and then she went on to form the Breeders. And gotta be honest, I like that Breeders album. I might like that Breeders album more than I like any of the Pixies albums, and I like the Pixies. All right, moving on. Born on this day, umbilical cousin to Kim Deal, another music performer, although someone I'm admittedly not all that familiar with. Maxi Priest, born on this day in 1961. He's an English singer and songwriter, and I know a lot of people who like Maxi Priest. Just not all that familiar with him. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Couple of hotties. We got some hotties here. Some women that I, at different points in my life, have been very attracted to. First up, celebrating a birthday today, born in 1962, it is Gina Gershon. Gina Gershon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thoughts on Gina Gershon. She had been acting in a lot of things for a lot of years and not really standing out. And then she did Showgirls and Bound back to back. Showgirls, of course, terrible movie. Nobody really loves Showgirls, but Showgirls was a huge impact on the popular culture. People did see it. People did talk about it, even if it was just talk about how bad it was. And Gina Gershon was one of the stars of that movie. So that was a very sexy sort of reimagination of the character that Gina Gershon had sort of been. Suddenly she's like this super sexy broad, right? Broad being that was her whole sort of, attitude and character. She was sexy, but she was also a broad. She followed that up with Bound, which was a crazy, like in 1999 or 2000 or whatever. It was a lesbian movie. And at that point, lesbian depictions weren't the L word. Lesbian depictions were still the Howard Stern show, right? I mean, so Bound was about two really attractive female lesbians who were also arch criminals. So those were two movies in a row that Gina Gershon sort of rebuilt or redirected her career. And she became like this sex symbol for about 5 years. And then, she started doing stupid movies. And then, born on this day in 1963, another woman who I was attracted to at some point. She was a very big actress for a period of time and then completely disappeared. Jean Triplehorn, ladies and gentlemen. Jean Triplehorn. All right, a couple of movies that she's been in where I kind of thought she was really cute. I don't know. Let's see. Let's start with the 90s. Basic Instinct. She played Dr. Beth Garner. Don't remember that. The Firm. Okay, so she was Tom Cruise's wife, right? In The Firm, I'm thinking. Reality Bites, Waterworld. Where'd she kind of drop off? At what point did she kind of drop off? What did she married? I thought she was Ben Stiller's girlfriend for like a long period of time. Triplehorn had a relationship with actor Ben Stiller between 1990 and 1996. She married actor Leland Orser in 2000. Triplehorn's grandmother, Joan Neely, is also an actress. Okay, there you go. So Jean Triplehorn, she kind of vanished though. She was like a 90s hot leading actress of the future who wasn't. Born on this day in 1965, Elizabeth Hurley. Oh my God, Elizabeth Hurley. Ah, boy. Couldn't even name one movie Elizabeth Hurley was in. I guess Austin Powers, right? That's the one that comes to mind. Austin Powers. God, Elizabeth Hurley is gorgeous. And she's still gorgeous. And I'll never understand how Hugh Grant could desire a streetwalker, Divine Brown, right? Wasn't that her name? What is going on in that mind where you have Elizabeth Hurley waiting for you at home and you decide to drop what? $50, 100, was it? I don't know, 20, whatever it costs. You decide to stop. That's someone with a sex problem. Also born on this day in 1968, happy birthday, Bill Burr, probably the best working comedian out there. I don't know. Look, we could talk this through. Bill Burr is climbing the charts of the greatest comedian who has ever worked. He is so prolific. He has pumped out a new special seemingly every 6 months for the last 10 years, and every special is fantastic. He's just happy birthday, Bill Burr. God, I love you. God, you're doing great. Here's a sad one. Born on this day in 1983, Marion Barber II, Marion Barber III, who just died last week. Dallas Cowboy, Chicago Bear. Do we know how he died? Did we learn how he died? I don't know. Let's see if his Wikipedia page is updated to show cause of death. Yeah, go lay down. The dog is, there she goes. You can see her in the corner. Let's see here. In 2000, Barber was found dead in his Frisco, Texas apartment on June 1st, 2022 at the age of 38. Still no cause of death. Adam, and he's the most prolific comedian in the last 5 years, even more than Chappelle, in my opinion. Adam says about Bill Burr. No doubt. Agree 100%. Okay, so Marion Barber, still don't have a cause of death. Today would have been his 38th birthday, I think is what we're looking at. Born on this day in 1983, Lily Sobieski. Do you guys know who Lily Sobieski is? She was an actress, another actress who was kind of hot and up and coming in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe even into the mid 2000s, the aughts. And then she just dropped off. Lily Sobieski. Here's my problem with Lily Sobieski. Let me show you what's always been my issue with her. Hold on. Because she seems like a fine actress. This is one of them difficult last names to search. All right. Yeah, this is why. All right. All right, yeah, we'll just do this. All right. So from the very first time that I saw Lily Sobieski, I just saw her as a younger version of Helen Hunt. I mean, that's Helen Hunt on the left. That's Lily Sobieski on the right. Now, I don't know if like at some point in their careers she may have played a younger Helen Hunt, in a movie where Helen Hunt was playing the adult version, and maybe she played her in a flashback. I don't know, but I cannot look at Lily Sobieski without thinking, "Holy shit, that's Helen Hunt." And look, I am not the only one. Look at these two. Look, they look exactly the same. Come on. So, I'm sure Lily Sobieski is a wonderful young actress, and I hope she has a great birthday today. But every time I look at you, I think Helen Hunt. And quite honestly, I don't have a really high regard for Helen Hunt as an actress. Like, she's a TV actress. She's not like an Academy Award level actress. So when I see Lily, I think my opinion of Lily Sobieski suffers from the Helen Hunt discount. I really do. Kate Upton celebrating birthday today, born in 1992. Very nice. Okay, dead on this day in 323 BC, Alexander the Great. Now, here's a big Alexander the Great and I share a birthday. Man, we're born on the same day. It's whenever you look at your list of people who were born on the same day as you, you like to see Mick Jagger, Demi Moore. Not that they were born on I don't know. All I know is Alexander the Great. That's my takeaway. Alexander the Great was born on the day that I was born. We share a birthday. He died on this day. Alexander the Great, Macedonian king, conqueror, ruler of the known world. He was one of the greats in history. Died on this day in 323 BC. Died on this day in 2002. John Gotti, American mobster, died in prison. I think he had cancer, something like that. Died on this day in 2004. We've got Ray Charles. Ray Charles died on this day in 2004. American singer, songwriter, pianist, and actor, and Jamie Foxx impersonator. Well, it's because you get it. And born on this day died on this day. These are all died on this day. Died on this day in 2020. Claudell Washington, American baseball player, the much traveled Claudell Washington. And I only put him in here because Claudell Washington is one of my earliest memories of being a young baseball fan. I went to a White Sox game and Claudell Washington must have had, I don't know, 2 packs of chewing gum in his mouth at the same time. And he was just standing in the outfield blowing the largest bubbles. And I looked at that and I thought, that is baseball. I'm 9 years old, 8 years old, whatever. I'm at a White Sox game. I'm looking at this guy and he's just standing around blowing massive bubbles and he's making a mint of money. That to me became baseball at that moment, ladies and gentlemen. So on this day in 2020, the great Claudell Washington, the much traveled. He was a Ranger too. Well, he played for almost every team, but yeah. Okay, let's get into what is trending. Oh, no. You know what we didn't do? We didn't do the day of, right? We jumped right into I'm not a big fan of the day of calendar. The day of calendar might be going away. Sorry, folks. I'm having some allergy issues again. It's coming back. And I took some of the allergy pills that make me really kind of drowsy. So if I seem like I'm pushing and I'm overly hopped up on coffee, it's because I am. All right, day of. Let's check the day of calendar. It's National Movie Night. Watch a movie tonight. There you go. National Ballpoint Pen Day. That's stupid. It's National Black Cow Day. What is that? That's like, what's a black cow? Like root beer. No, root beer. I don't know. Whatever. It's National Egg Roll Day. Don't do that. That sounds stupid. It's National Herbs and Spices Day. Who cares? It's National Iced Tea Day. Oh, boy, is it hot. We're going to need some iced tea around these parts, I'll tell you. But I ain't going to be sitting on no front porch drinking the iced tea. This is indoor air conditioning weather. It's air conditioning season, folks. Make no mistake. Okay, let's see here. Let's check on the Dow Jones is trending. That's the big story right now. Yeah, it is down 667 points right now. Whatever. It goes up, it goes down. But that's a big number. It was down as much as I think 800 earlier today. Let me see. Let's keep moving. Let's see here. January 6th is trending. Man, last night, that was like the Super Bowl for news nerds. It really was. The whole the way they presented it, it was like I'm surprised there wasn't a halftime show with cheerleaders and, the Foo Fighters or whatever. It was fascinating TV. I watched it, but look, as far as my opinions go on what we saw last night, I know what I saw. I've been saying this the whole time. I know what I saw. That's couple of things that I did immediately move to while watching it was, because some of it was so boring and so long. And I know what I saw. I already saw it. I saw a lot of this stuff. There was some new stuff that I saw that was interesting, but I know what I saw. Okay. So I don't need this whole pony show. But I immediately, during some of the, some of Benny Johnson's long-winded grandstanding, there was a little bit of that, hey, he had the primetime audience. Nobody's ever heard of Benny Johnson before. Why not? But I immediately started looking at these people and thinking about, okay, the movie, because I'm currently watching Gaslit and I'm really enjoying Gaslit. Gaslit is a Starz miniseries about the Mitchell family and how they were involved in the Watergate scandal. It's about Martha Mitchell and John Mitchell. John Mitchell was President Nixon's attorney general. So it's about their role in the whole Watergate thing. It's called Gaslit. It's really good. So while I'm watching last night's hearings, I'm like, oh, when are they going to make a Gaslight about, when are they going to do the version of this movie? So I started thinking, so of the people who seem to have been starring last night in episode 1, you had Lynn Chaney, you had Kinzinger, you had Raskin, and you had Benny Johnson, right? So how are we going to cast that? So that's honestly what I was thinking about. I'm watching this and I'm like, who's going to play Lynn Chaney? That's a hard one. Because here's what I think. And I know you're going to be like, what? I think Cameron Diaz. That's right. Cameron Diaz. I think that Cameron Diaz, or possibly, who's the one that uglied up for Monster? Who's that? What's that one? Who's I don't know. It's no. Come on, help me out, guys. Who's the girl from she was also in Arrested Development. She played Monster. What was her name? It's not Caroline Rhea. I don't know. Anyway, Benny Thompson? Charlize, there you go, Byron. Thank you. Charlize Theron. Maybe you like Charlize Theron. You get a woman who is, in her 40s or in her 50s, and then you just like chaining her up. I'm thinking because don't be thinking of Charlize Theron, the glamour girl. Think of like her moving forward into playing older, frumpier roles. I'm like, okay, so maybe we'll do that. Maybe I like for the character of uh, also Julia Roberts because I'm watching Gaslit and she's so good in that as Martha Mitchell. But whatever. Okay, so I'm thinking of those lines. Mark Wahlberg for Adam Kinzinger. I went back and forth. I was like Matt Damon or Mark Wahlberg, and honestly, sometimes I think they're almost the same person. So either Matt Damon or Mark Wahlberg in the role of Adam Kinzinger. Now let's get to a Raskin, right? Raskin, that guy's all frumpy. His hair's like he didn't never got it. He's still using the Floby, For Raskin, I was thinking maybe Mike Myers. Maybe Mike Myers. Maybe Paul Reiser. Paul Reiser. I just recently saw Paul Reiser. Paul Reiser was in like what? Stranger Things season 2, season 3, something like that. And I was like, Paul Reiser's back. Okay, so maybe or any Kids in the Hall fans out there? I think Kevin McDonald. I think Kevin McDonald could play Raskin, Jamie Raskin. Who else do we need? So we got Raskin. Benny Johnson. Okay. This is a hard one because, Will Smith would be the guy that I would cast as Benny Raskin, right? Or not Benny Raskin, Benny Johnson. I'm sorry. It's these crazy being able to breathe allergy things that I take. They make me a little bit racy. Not racist, racy, like I speed. So I apologize. And because of that, I get names wrong sometimes. Leslie Collins, I had to Google how to spell Charlize. Michelle Pfeiffer as Liz Cheney, JBM says, that is awesome. That is awesome. That is really good. You know what, JBM, I am moving Michelle Pfeiffer into the lead for people I will cast to play Lynn Cheney when this is all a movie. All right, so we've got Michelle Pfeiffer as Lynn Cheney. We've got Mark Wahlberg as Adam Kinzinger. I'm going to go with Mike Myers, I think, as Jamie Raskin. And I would love to cast Will Smith as, Benny Johnson, who's the chairman of these committees. But we can't be giving him a historic role, right? We can't be doing that right now. So, I mean, I don't know who, dude from The Office, I don't know. Put the dude from can't get Will Smith. How about the dude from The Office? Ving Rhames, huh? Maybe Ving Rhames could pull that off. I don't know. Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. I think he looks like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. TD Jakes, JBM once again. I don't know the TD Jakes X, but and I want more of a dude, Wesley Snipes. I don't know who I don't know. I haven't seen, I don't know dick about Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson has apparently been in the United States Congress for like 40 years. This is the first I'm ever hearing of him. So suddenly, which is probably good because it just means he's not a grandstander, right? Although he did a little grandstanding last night. Smithburg, Maryland. I got nothing else to say about the January 6th thing. It's going to play out. People are going to do what they're going to do. I can't handle it. I don't want to talk about it. It's stupid. Jeff Glenn says he was going to suggest Uncle Phil. Yeah, Uncle Phil. Oh, Uncle Phil's dead, says Byron. I think that is terrible. Oh, no. Ving Rhames. Adam says Ving Rhames dead. I don't know if he's screwing with me because I get Ving Rhames and Michael Clark Duncan mixed up, and Michael Clark Duncan is dead, so I don't think Ving Rhames is. Now I get Ving Rhames confused with Terry Crews. That's I don't know. So there you go. There you have it. That's all I did. I cast the movie because I really I know what I saw. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that whole January 2nd thing. And you know what you didn't see. I'll add that to the whole conversation. Smithburg, Maryland was trending. It was trending last night. There was another shooting. This is a terrible situation. There's some really wild video that's out there capturing, shootouts between police and the guy. So basically this happened at a machine shop in Smithburg, which is rural Maryland. Dude went into work and he killed a bunch of his coworkers. He was, let me see here. I'll give you the story just so that we don't, because it's another terrible shooting. But again, we have categories. And by the way, today I'm going to use this story to introduce a new category. I need to compartmentalize these tragedies, these mass shootings, some of them are perpetrated by one group, another group. So we're going to add a new category here. But here's the story that happened yesterday in Maryland. Maryland shooting suspect was factory employee, police say. 3 victims identified. What we know. Question remained Friday about the motive of a gunman who killed 3 people and injured 2 others in a shooting Thursday at the manufacturing facility near Smithburg. The gunman, a worker at the factory who was also injured, was in custody and charges were expected. His identity was not released, but authorities are expected to release more information on Friday afternoon. A Maryland State Police trooper was also injured after he exchanged gunfire with the suspect. The state trooper's injuries were not life-threatening, and he was released from the hospital late Thursday evening, the Washington County Sheriff's Office wrote in a Facebook post late Thursday. The shooting happened Thursday afternoon at Columbia Machine, a factory in Smithburg, about 75 miles northwest of Baltimore, near the Pennsylvania border. Deputies arrived at 2:30 and found 4 employees had been shot, 3 of them fatally. The suspect shooter is a 23-year-old man who lives in West Virginia and was employed at the factory. A semi-automatic handgun was used in the shooting, but authorities didn't detail the caliber, make, and model. Okay, so here's what this is the new category. So we've already stated we have one. Whenever we hear about these mass shootings where it starts to break, and they're like, breaking now. Police are responding to a mass casualty event with an active shooter at X place X. So there are 3 ways in my mind that I categorize it. I have one. The first is who we'll call the monster human. Okay, the monster human. Is this shooter the monster human? That's a shooter. That's a guy who uses an AR-15 because it slays, right? Because he purposely just wants to inflict as much damage as possible. He wants to kill the monster human. His reasons are politics, maybe religion, or just flat out batshit crazy. He could just be batshit crazy. So that's one. That's the monster human. That's the guy who, does the school shootings, I guess, the mall shootings, the movie theaters, whatever it is, that guy. Number 2, the second category, when I hear about these news stories, I ask myself, I say, is this just the young, undisciplined, everyday dirtbag basic criminal, right? Is this your carjacker? Is this your armed robber? Is this your gangbanger in a situation that went bad, right? Or are they also just batshit crazy? The batshit crazy category can find a slot in almost all of these. So with this one here in Smithburg, I thought, there's a whole new kind of category that needs to be. What about the dude just having a bad day? The dude just having a bad day who is not the monster human. So he's not having a bad day and going into a roller rink with an A-15 that he purchased and he's going to kill as many kids as possible. That's not the dude just having the bad day. The dude having the bad day snaps on his coworkers and kills a guy that he's been hating on for 6 months, right? That's the third category. So we've got the monster human, we've got the undisciplined everyday street crime, and then we've got the guy just having a bad day. I am most concerned. I freak out hardest about the monster human because the monster human is just looking for anybody. And one of the things, why I put this Smithburg guy, why I put him in the category of just the dude having a bad day. By the way, I don't mean to lessen. He's a monster. He's a monster. He killed people. But, there are different issues here with these shootings that we're seeing now just about every day. So this guy just used a handgun. He had the gun. It was a gun he used, for shooting cans and behind his trailer or whatever his deal was. And he just, I don't know, maybe he got picked on at work. Maybe he was, the butt of jokes. He's 23 years old. The victims were all much older, 50, 30, and 31. 23-year-old kid working in a machine shop. Maybe he's taking a verbal beating every day. Something happened last night with a girl at the bar, right? And now he's showing up to work. That's just a dude who's flipping out and losing his shit. And I say it's different than the human monster because, like I said, this guy just used a handgun. He didn't go run down to the store and buy, the most effective weapon that he could use to kill as many people as he needs to in a short period of time. He didn't do that. He just went, he opened his drawer, he grabbed his gun, and he said, "I'm going to show Ronnie who's boss." And he marched into work and he killed. So that's a whole different thing. I don't worry about that. I whatever. Those kind of situations, I like to think that I can see brewing. I can get out of there. I like to imagine that I would know that this coworker is about to crack, about to flip out on you. Hey, Ronnie, you should lay off on the kid because He ain't all there. Oh, what's the kid gonna see? Because Ronnie's not really thinking. Ronnie's not. All right, what else do we have here? Excuse me. I'm having a little bit of an issue there. Sorry, I got a slightly new setup today. Oh boy. I put some of my equipment in different places, so I'm not as good at just being able to. So just bear with me while I get through this today. Oh, okay, so we can do this one, I guess. Remember I was telling you a couple of days ago about the Washington Post situation? They're calling it the war at the Post. The Washington Post had a couple of reporters. Is it Dave Weigel? Dave Weigel, or is that his name? I can't. I don't know. He was one of their hotshot young political reporters, and he got suspended for a month because of a joke that he retweeted over Twitter. The joke was, are you ready? Prepare yourself. The joke was, all women are bi. It's just up to us to figure out if they're bisexual or bipolar. Okay, stupid joke, whatever. He retweeted it. He didn't even come up with it. He didn't even tweet it himself initially. He just retweeted it. And a female coworker decided that that constituted harassment and that she couldn't believe that the Washington Post would advocate such, or not advocate, but condone such behavior. And so the Washington Post reacted by Dave Weil by suspending him for a month without pay because he retweeted that joke. And apparently that is an aggressive move and they won't be tolerated in the Washington Post newsroom. So the woman who brought these charges is also a woman. What is her name? Felicia Sonmez. Felicia Sonmez, who brought these charges against Dave Weigel for retweeting that joke on Twitter. Her history is that she had just emerged from a harassment suit that she had filed against the Washington Post, which a judge threw out. A judge said, there are absolutely no grounds for this, Miss Sonmez. We're throwing this out. And so she went back to work at the Washington Post, a place where she had just lost a lawsuit over harassment. And they can't fire her, so they got to keep her around. So, you would think that maybe she would try and lay low. But no, it seems to me that she's just as much of a thorn in their side. So she filed a second complaint against this guy, Dave Weigel, for that joke that he retweeted. I can't believe I have to work in an environment like this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Dave gets the 1 month suspension, and then you're crowing about it. Other Washington Post reporters at this point started to gang up on her. They were like, are you out of your mind? You are destroying the culture of our workplace. We all get along. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. That whole thing. Well, that's where we left off. So today, Washington Post fires reporter Felicia Sonmez after a week of feuding publicly with her colleagues. They got rid of her. You know what? They just said, you know what? If you want to try and sue us now for unlawful termination or want to go ahead, we're tired of bowing down to that threat. Bring it, lady. You have now demonstrated over the course of a couple of years your consistency at being a rabble rouser. So bring it. We feel justified in firing you. The Washington Post on Thursday fired Felicia Sonmez, the reporter who has been extraordinarily critical of her colleagues and the newspaper's leadership over the last several days. The Post termination notice, a copy of which was seen by CNN, said Sonmez was fired for misconduct that includes insubordination, maligning your coworkers online, and violating the Post standards on workplace collegiality and inclusivity. We cannot allow you to continue to work as a journalist representing the Washington Post, the letter concluded. All right, so there you go. So she's been fired. Seems like a troublemaker. I don't know what. Right, I wouldn't say I'm cherry picking details from her past. I don't know of any of the good reporting that she may have done. I don't know. Maybe she did none of it. I don't know. But what we do know is that she brought a case by which I admittedly do not know the details. And maybe before I offer such a stalwart opinion, I should probably familiarize myself with the case. But all I know is that a judge threw it out, is that she was making some harassment case. And the judge said, there is no merits to this. We are throwing it out. And then a couple of months later, after having that case thrown out, she does something that I knowing all the facts, I read the joke, I saw the joke, I understand the means of transportation of the joke. It was a retweet. I get it. It's not something that came from his mind. It's just something that he put out there in the Twitter sphere for people to consume. And she tried to get him fired over it. And he ultimately did get suspended. So we know that. We know that that's a ridiculous thing to claim that you've been injured by. And I'm sorry, but knowing that, it sort of tells me that maybe the judge threw out your initial case because you are a bit of a dingbat, because you are a bit of a troublemaker, because you are looking to make a name for yourself by exploiting whatever this Me Too, very serious Me Too era is. All right? You know what I'm saying? We just saw it with Amber Heard. We just saw Amber Heard not represent well for the so-called Me Too movement. That does not mean that all the women who bring charges against men are making it up. No, it just means that there are certain people who are behaving as bad actors and are injuring the entire. I think this Felicia Sonmez of the Washington Post is another example of that. I think I would love for her to bring a wrongful termination case against the Washington Post, because I'd love for that to be played out publicly. Because I'll tell you, they're going to bring up some stuff about the way she behaved in the office, and it's not going to be a good look for regular Americans. We're all going to be like, what? Oh my God, she's just one of these complainers about everything. I want attention because daddy didn't hug me enough, so I'm going to complain about everything so that somebody has to talk about why I'm upset. There are people like that in this world, and I think she might be one of them. All right, moving forward here, a couple of quick baseball stories. Sadly, Tony La Russa is trending. Tony La Russa is the manager of my Chicago White Sox, one of the most disappointing single-season baseball teams that I've ever experienced. I went into this season thinking World Series. The supercomputer picked the White Sox and the Brewers to be in the World Series this year, and the supercomputer accurately picked the World Series last year and the year before that. So we were all very excited heading into this season, and we're terrible. We are just terrible. We are uninspired. They are an error machine. They're also very injured. There's a number of our star players who have not been together. Our core, the core that the computer said is going to win the World Series, the core of this White Sox team that is supposed to be this young team built for the future and built to win multiple championships, the core of this team, the core 6 players on this team who are supposed to be the superstars of the future, they have only played together in 3 years for like 20 games. It's like, come on! We are fielding half a so anyway, we're fielding half a AAA team every game. So Tony La Russa is the manager of this team. He was, a couple of years back now, he was brought out of retirement. Hall of Fame manager, won a bunch of World Series with Oakland and the Cards. No doubt, one of the great old minds of the game. He'd been retired for 11 years, and the White Sox have this super team of young Cuban ball players that everybody is saying, oh, you better not screw up their development. So they go and they bring in Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa comes out of retirement after 11 years, and he's going to, boy, this is a bad news bears situation, isn't it? How is he going to relate to these young kids? How is he going to ever adapt to the modern game? It's changed so much in the 11 years since he's been out. But he gets the job because he was previously the manager of the team back in the 1980s, and he was fired rather unceremoniously by Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the team. And I say rather unceremoniously because everybody forgets that he was even the White Sox manager before he took over the Oakland A's of the 1980s, the teams with McGuire and Canseco, the teams that, really put the Oakland A's back on the map. And then after he left the A's, he went to the St. Louis Cardinals and he reestablished them as the greatest team in National League history. So he's got his stripes. He's a legend. And the idea of letting this legend sort of mentor these young kids was not one that was completely lost on me. But come on, he's terrible. He is terrible. He is ruining this team. They all love him, though. I think they all love him because he's a kindly old grandpa. I don't think that they respect him, and I don't think they do what he says, and I don't think he inspires them to play harder. But he's their manager. So, he's trending today because look, I'm a White Sox fan. I watch every game. I know why he makes mistakes every single game that White Sox Twitter goes nuts on every single night. But now he's being made fun of by the other team's broadcast. But he's like a doddering old man. So he's trending because Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the team, is holding White Sox fans hostage, it says. I've tried to explain the weirdness that encompasses and in some ways constitutes the Chicago White Sox. They are a unique entity, both on the field and off, and in the stands, and on the airwaves, and in the bars. But it's pretty simple to see how a fan base can become so warped when they are tossed about like a rowboat in a maelstrom by the increasingly baffling and reclusive owner Jerry Reinsdorf. They certainly aren't the only team in baseball or sports that have to live in opposition to the guy who runs the team. Hell, they're not even the only team in town. But whereas shitheel owners tend to work in general ways, don't spend this much money, everything other than that doesn't matter. Reinsdorf swoops in every once in a while from his deprivation tank in Arizona to get his fingers in the pie at the strangest of times. So the story talks about, and it's taken off nationally, they're starting to fire managers now. It always takes a couple of months for baseball to fire its managers. They fired Joe Girardi in Philadelphia and Joe Madden with the California Angels. And I got to tell you, White Sox Nation is like, can we just please fire Tony La Russa already? Can we please, can we just get rid of him? Before you completely squander an entire season of these great young players' careers, can we maybe get somebody in there who knows the modern game? Can we maybe get somebody in there who these players aren't just going to love as a funny old grandpa, but actually be afraid of and want to perform for? That's all we want. Robot umps. This is the second baseball story. I want to show you this. Robot umps are trending as well. Here's why. This happened yesterday in a game. Let me pull this up for you. Robot umps. There it is. All right, here. I want to show you these. So this occurred in a game. Well, another, if I'm being honest. This is another White Sox-Dodgers game. This is the same reason that Tony La Russa is trending. By the way, the mistake La Russa made last night was that he intentionally walked Trey Turner of the Dodgers because first base was open. He intentionally walked Trey Turner with 2 strikes. He had 2 strikes, and then all of a sudden Tony decides, no, let's intentionally walk him. Let's put him on first base, thinking that it would be better to pitch to Max Muncy, who then, of course, Max Muncy hit a grand slam. So people are like, Tony, what are you doing? You had 2 strikes on the guy. Just throw another strike to him. But robot umps are trending because of this. Here, we're going to show you. This is why this is interesting. I'm going to show you both broadcast teams' reaction to this particular human umpire error. Okay, there you go. All right. Now, if you watch baseball, you know that a lot of teams, I guess not all, but most teams, at least that I watch, they utilize some form of a strike box, which is a graphic that comes on the screen that shows you what the perceived strike zone is for a game. The umpire's job is to call balls and strikes. The thing now about watching baseball is we see exactly where the ball is going in relation to that strike zone. So we see it better than the umpire. And when the umpire gets it wrong, especially when it affects your team, it is maddening. So this was a situation that occurred. People are now screaming for robot umps and the need for robot umps. So here we go.
What a second one. Whoa. That's a perfect pitch. I think Ed Hickox, when he sees that, is going to realize that he absolutely missed it.
Umpire calls this a ball.
How much you can do. I mean,
that was the third
literally
strike.
It drops at the belt. It's over the middle of the plate. It has the entire plate. It's just one of those calls. Anyway.
All right, watch it again.
That's a ball. Whoa. That's a perfect pitch.
I guess there wasn't 2 strikes. But still, I mean, kind of nuts. Okay, so
literally,
that was the White Sox broadcast crew. Now, that pitch went against the White Sox. So you would expect their crew to be a little bit upset, right? A little bit. Here, this is the Dodgers crew on the very same pitch. This is what's going around under the tab of robot umpires, the need for robot umpires in Major League Baseball. So here you go. This is the Dodgers crew now. We heard from the White Sox crew. Here's the Dodgers crew.
Whoa.
It's borderline middle.
All right, so even there is the Dodger crew. The crew, that call benefited them. It was good for them that they got it. But even they, you could tell, were admitting, oh my God, how can this umpire get that so wrong? Umpires make some amazing calls. Look, I'm not just completely out here shitting on umpires. Our ability to absolutely know for certain whether or not the guy was out at first base, our ability to now know that with absolute certainty is incredible. And the calls that these umpires make in the moment that are legit right. I mean, sometimes I see some of these calls, I'm like, he's out, he's totally out. And the umpire says he was safe. And then we watch the thing and it turns out he was safe. It's like, oh my God, that was like a split hair, between the ball being in the mitt and the foot being on the base. So I don't shit on umpires, but man, I just think balls and strikes in big games are way too important nowadays. We gotta get balls and strikes right. I don't care. I don't want to robot at first base. That's fine. We'll keep it. We'll keep the human umpires. But as far as calling balls and strikes, I am all for the robot umpire thing. Ezra Miller is trending. We have been talking about Ezra Miller. He is, of course, Flash. He's one of the actors in the DC Extended Universe. He plays Justice League, Flash. I don't know. Was he in Batman? Whatever. I like him. I do. I like him as the Flash. But he is a weird-ass actor, man. We've been following his many arrests. He keeps getting arrested in Hawaii. He's getting into fights. He's acting crazy. We watched some video of Ezra Miller getting arrested like for the fourth time or something. And he was acting all crazy to the cops and being weird. So there's something going on with Ezra Miller. And he's probably not going to be in the DC Extended Universe much longer if he hasn't already been ejected from the role of the Flash. But he's in more legal trouble. We got more situations here with Ezra. Ezra Miller is in more legal hot water following their recent that's it, like there, because they're gender fluid, which Ezra Miller is in more hot water following their recent arrests. This, according to a new complaint, the actor is being accused of grooming a minor from the age of 12. Her name is Dakota Iron Eyes. Apparently she's an Indian activist girl. Who's now 18. Ezra Miller has denied the claims in a statement on social media. On Tuesday, attorney and activist Chase Iron Eyes and his wife, Sarah Jumping Eagle, filed court documents in Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court alleging that Miller has been physically and emotionally abusing as well as psychologically manipulating, physically intimidating, and endangering the safety and welfare of their daughter, Dakota Iron Eyes. This, according to court documents obtained by Entertainment Weekly. Dakota Iron Eyes uses she, they pronouns, although her parents claim Miller has decided that Dakota is to be called they. I don't know. Okay, so there's this girl. Apparently, she's got some notoriety of her own. She's an Indian activist, and she somehow crossed paths with Ezra Miller when she was 12 years old. And now the little girl's parents are saying that Ezra Miller has sort of become her Svengali, whatever. So there you go. He's being dragged into court for that. Let's see. Anything more on here? There's always. The parents claim that Miller gave Dakota alcohol and drugs, including marijuana and LSD, and exhibited a pattern of corrupting a minor by paying for Dakota to attend college and then using that against Dakota to create a sense of indebtedness. Oh, so apparently he's like mentoring her and he paid for her college, and now the parents are saying, yeah, but it's because you want to do like creepy, weird things with her and control her and make her your little puppet. So there you have it. That's why Ezra Miller is trending again. Brittany is trending. I don't know this story. I saw this, Brittany got married yesterday. She married that dude, Sam whomever. Let's see here. Didn't something happen at Brittany's wedding? Somebody like start a fight or something? I don't know. Let me see here. TMZ has learned Jason's been. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. Britney Spears' wedding was just dramatically interrupted as her first husband, Jason Alexander, that's the guy she was married to for like 12 hours. He had the same name as like George Costanza from Seinfeld, but not the same guy. Britney Spears' wedding has just dramatically been interrupted as her first husband, Jason Alexander, showed up trying to crash the event, resulting in a police response. Of course, he had his phone out and he was recording it. So this is all just a TikTok stunt, an Instagram play, whatever it is, by some incredibly desperate cretin that the popular culture created over the past 20 years. Because Jason Alexander should not in any way, shape, or form be a name that any of us know other than the actor who plays George Costanza. There should be no confusion, and there is. Jason Alexander is just simply now looking to stay relevant in any way possible, and he knows that hits translate into money. So he walks into Britney's wedding. Hey, I was the first guy. Whatever it was, I don't even know. Let's read on. Jason went live on Instagram. Of course he did. Jason went live on Instagram Thursday as he approached event security, telling him Britney had invited him and that she was his first wife and only wife, and he was going to crash the event before some kind of physical struggle. And he was going to crash the event before some kind of physical struggle. Alexander's phone then freezes up. His Instagram. Hey, he needs Ed. He needs Ed from Radio Misfits. If Ed was behind the scenes, it wouldn't freeze up. Somehow, Jason Alexander was able to make it inside Britney's home, where he continued to live stream. He was eventually restrained outside. We're told the Ventura County Sheriff's Department responded to the trespassing call and are still on the scene. Okay, let's see if we got any new updates on this. Britney Spears' attorney, Matthew Rosengart, tells TMZ he's absolutely livid. Jason tried to crash the wedding and says Alexander needs to be locked up. Rosengart tells us Britney is safe and adds, I am personally working with the Sheriff's Department to ensure that Mr. Alexander is aggressively prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. TMZ has learned Jason's been booked now for trespassing, vandalism, and 2 batteries. We're told he also has felony warrants for larceny in another county, and he will remain in custody. All right, there you go. Look, I said yesterday when, it was trending, Britney was getting married later in the day. I said, this is, we just start the clock, right? Start the egg timer till when some kind of silliness occurs. And they weren't even married yet. And the silliness just continues. So this is going to be a fun marriage to watch. I'm pretty sure things are going to be ticking. Okay, so yesterday, and this was sent in by April. Thank you, April. She sent this to my Twitter, and I saw it. Yesterday, we've been talking a lot about the musical chairs that are happening in the NFL broadcast booths for ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Prime, all of whatever it is. So everybody's moving around. Everybody's on a different network now. There are no, except for Nance and Romo. I think Nance and Romo are still the A-team at CBS. But we talked about Drew Brees leaving yesterday. Drew Brees was trending. Drew Brees announced that he is no longer working for NBC Sports. He will not be acting as a football analyst or a pre or post show or halftime show panelist. He's not going to be doing that anymore. He's going to spend, I guess, more time with his family or whatever it is that they say. Truth of the matter is that Drew Brees was terrible. He was very boring. He wasn't interesting. He's not charismatic. He lacks all the skills that it takes to be somebody that Americans want to watch on television. He doesn't have it. He's not magnetic. It's just a thing. Sorry. Bye, Drew. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. So I said, Fitzmagic just retired. This is just Fitzmagic they should be on the phone with Fitzpatrick right now and get him in there. He just retired. He's fun. He's smart. He's America loves him for some, crazy reason. So Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't get the job. You know who did? NBC has already hired Drew Brees' replacement with the just electric and say anything. You never know what this guy's going to say. They replaced the really boring Drew Brees with the equally boring Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, former Cowboys coach, former Giants coach, just an absolute depiction paint drying. That's what he is. So that's it. They could have had, I'm telling you, I would be better at these jobs of running these networks. Ryan Fitzpatrick is out there and you go with Jason Garrett. Okay, very good. Whatever. Enjoy. Julie Cruz is trending. Now. I didn't know who she was, but she's a singer. She was featured. I guess she Cindy Wilson left the B-52s for a period of time, and Julie Cruz replaced her. So Julie Cruz was a touring member and a recording member of the B-52s between like 1992 and 2000 or whatever. I don't know. Julie Cruz is trending, though, because of her association with filmmaker David Lynch. David Lynch used Julie Cruz music in all of his stuff. She's most famous, the Twin Peaks theme. That's apparently a song that she sings on, although the Twin Peaks theme doesn't have vocals. Actually, I think it's got some vocals at some point in it, but it's a real song, and it's a Julie Cruz song. And, there you go. Julie Cruz. Julie Cruz's angelic voice guided us through David Lynch's American Hell. She died. She died 68, I believe it says she was. Peaky Blinders is trending, folks. Peaky Blinders is trending. Peaky Blinders. Now, every time I talk about the greatest TV shows of all time, I hope you've noticed, I make it a point to exclude anything that's currently in production. So if I'm ever going to talk about the 5 best TV shows of all time, I will never include shows like Succession or Peaky Blinders because these shows are still in production. We don't have their full body of work to evaluate yet. So let's see. What if the last couple episodes are so terrible that it affects my ongoing impression of the show? 20 years ago, oh yeah, that's right, that show was good, but the last 5 episodes sucked. Anyway, Peaky Blinders is back. Peaky Blinders is a British show. It is a BBC show. Here, just for those of you who don't know what Peaky Blinders is, I will give you a nice little rundown on what exactly the show is about. Because the name is terrible. The name makes you think of something else. I tell you, I envy any of you out there who do not know what Peaky Blinders is, and maybe because of what I'm about to tell you about it, you are interested and you check it out. And then you spend this entire weekend doing nothing but binging season after season of Peaky Blinders because it is an amazing show. Now, pro tip, if you're going to watch Peaky Blinders, you're going to want to activate the closed captioning because there are a lot of characters who speak in such a Cockney street level British accent that you're gonna need the closed captioning, and it really does help. It really, because those are some of the best lines, some of the best writing is done, by some crazy poor person in Birmingham, England in 1919, and you may not get every nuance of what they're saying without having the closed captioning. So there's a little Peaky Blinders pro tip watching tool for you there. So Netflix, the final season is out. Apparently it posted on Netflix today. So it's, the Peaky Blinders weekend on Netflix. What is Peaky Blinders and why is that name so stupid? Well, the name is stupid. I hate the name. I wish it wasn't named Peaky Blinders because I think a lot of people hear it and think, oh, is that like Teletubbies? Sounds like something that would be for kids. But it's not. Peaky Blinders is the name of a street gang in Birmingham, England, around just after World War I. It is a street gang that is populated by a bunch of World War I soldiers who returned from the front. And so they are a street gang with skills, if you can imagine. They are a street gang who has actually already served in a global conflict and has been through hell and back. And now they are coming back home and they are going to take over the streets of Birmingham, England in the year 1918 or whatever. It takes place, if you like Boardwalk Empire, it's sort of in that same time period, except it's in Birmingham, England. And Peaky Blinders are the hats they wear. They wear peakies. The hats are little peakies. You'll know it when you see it. When you see one of them walking down the street and they got the hat on, those kinds of hats were called peakies. And what these guys did was they put razor blades in the brims of their hats. And if they got angry with you, they would be talking to you on the street, and then all of a sudden they would whip their hat off and slash your eyeballs. They would blind you with the razor blades in their hats. It's brutal, man. This show is absolutely brutal. So not Teletubbies, not by any stretch of the imagination. Peaky Blinders is a British crime drama television series created by Stephen Knight set in Birmingham, England. It follows the exploits of the Peaky Blinders crime gang in the direct aftermath of World War I. The fictional gang is loosely based on the real urban youth gang of the same name. It features an ensemble cast led by Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy as Tommy Shelby. Oh my God. As good as James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano? Maybe. It features an ensemble cast led by Cillian Murphy starring as Tommy Shelby, Helen McCrory as Elizabeth Polly Gray, Paul Anderson, Sophie Rundle, let's see here, Sam Neill, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is so good in Peaky Blinders. Adrian Brody, Aidan Gillian, Anna Taylor-Joy. It's so good. Let me read you some of the reviews, just so you get just what people are saying about it, so you know that I'm just not a crazy person here talking about some weird show that I found on Netflix. Which, by the way, the final season debuted today, last night on Netflix. So people are very excited. David Renshaw of The Guardian surmised the series of Peaky Blinders as a, quote, riveting, fast-paced tale of post-First World War Birmingham gangsters, praising Cillian Murphy as the ever so cool Tommy Shelby and the rest of the cast for their powerful performances. Sarah Compton of The Telegraph gave the series 4.5 stars out of a 5 rating, praising the show for its originality and taking all of our expectations and confounding them. Alex Fletcher from Digital Spy says of Peaky Blinders, it has started as sharp as a dart, while Den of the Geek site called the series the most intelligent, stylish, and engrossing BBC drama of ages. Cult TV Times critic David McHugh said the show warrants the billing by managing to tick every ratings box of period drama, gangster epic, film star leads. You can check all of the boxes. Peaky Blinders does it. Now, where's the other? Here's what I like. I like to look at the Rotten Tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. The 6th and final series has received universal acclaim. That's what's posted now. The 6th and final series has received universal acclaim on Metacritic. It has a weighted average score of 86 out of 100 based on reviews, indicating universal acclaim. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a 100%. Peaky Blinders, 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes with an average critic rating of 8 out of 10. The website's critical consensus reads, Peaky Blinders' 6th season gracefully addresses the spoiler alert, one of the main characters in Peaky Blinders died, like in real life. So they had to figure out how to work that into the show. And they do. They do it marvelously. Okay, so there you have it. Peaky Blinders. I'm very excited that the new season is up there on Netflix. And by the way, if you do start from episode 1, series 1, which you most certainly should, because you need to watch this story unfold, and it's BBC, so every season is only 6 episodes. It's like really easy. The BBC doesn't do 10, 12 episodes per season. The BBC does like 6 episodes. So season 1 is 6 episodes. Season 2 is 6 episodes. Season 3, you can really get through the entire season over the weekend if you're a loser. But no, not this weekend, because it's going to be like 100. So you might want to just stay inside, suck up air conditioning, lay on the floor in a darkened room, and binge watch Peaky Blinders. All right, there you go. So that's the big thing you can all watch on what do you want to say? Netflix this weekend. What else do we have? Hold on. Sorry. I've been getting these notifications on my phone. There we go. Yep. Okay. So that's it. That's it as far as the stuff that I had prepared, as far as what was trending. So let me take a look now and see what is happening in real time, because we don't have to get out of here yet. Nope. Got a little bit of time. We got time. The problem with everything that's trending today, and the reason that, I sort of went heavy with entertainment stories, baseball stories, football stories, that kind of thing, is because everything is so divisive today. And because of the January 6th hearings from last night. So everything is just, Geico is trending. Geico makes the best commercials. Think of all the Geico commercials. Although the Mayhem, is that State Farm? Who does Mayhem? Boy, I'm telling you, these commercials are so effective at making us laugh as consumers, but they're not very effective at, attaching the brand. Like, who's Mayhem? Is that State Farm? No. Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are State Farm. But also, is it the cavemen were Geico? Who's the one with, my favorite insurance? Why are insurance commercials always so good? My favorite, and is it Progressive or is it Geico? I get those two confused. The guy that is helping you not become your parents. Oh, come on. That guy is so great. That guy, those are the best. There are some acting performances going on in those commercials. The ones where it's like people in their late 30s and they're suddenly turning into their parents, so they have to participate in this class where this old, kindly social worker type guy tries to help you not become your parents. I don't know what insurance that is. I have no idea. But Geico is trending because a woman was awarded $5.2 million in a settlement from the insurance company after contracting a sexually transmitted disease from her partner in his vehicle, which was insured by the company. Are you kidding me? We've got to look at this story. We've got to delve into this story. Let's see here. So the car insurance company has to pay a woman $5.2 million because she had sex in a car that was insured by them and she caught a venereal disease? Whoa, this is game changer. This is crazy. That is awesome. I don't know what to think of. That is awesome. That is like, well, first of all, I hate insurance companies, so that is awesome. But they are never going to pay it. They will appeal and appeal and appeal, and somewhere down the line, somebody will go, well, that ain't right. Because look, objectively, that ain't right. You can't. That's not the insurance. I hate insurance companies. That's not the insurance company's fault. Although, let's find out what exactly happened here. A Missouri woman was awarded $5.2 million in a settlement from insurance company Geico after contracting a sexually transmitted disease from her partner in his vehicle, which was insured by the company. The woman, a Jackson County resident, said she contracted human papillomavirus, HPV, from her partner, according to court documents. On Tuesday, the Missouri Court of Appeals filed an opinion confirming the initial Jackson County Circuit Court arbitration award finding against Geico. In February of 2021, the woman, anonymously identified in documents as Mo, submitted a petition to Geico directly. She alleged that her sexual partner negligently caused or contributed to cause to be infected with HPV by not taking prior precautions and neglecting to inform her of the diagnosis. This, according to court. How is that Geico the car insurer's fault? I mean, I like it. I like it. Look, hey man, shit goes the other way all the time. I'm fine with it. If we're going to even out the pendulum, right? The equal scales of justice, sometimes they got to go in this direction. Sometimes the big evil insurance company has to take one on the chin because let me tell you, there's a lot of people that they've screwed over. They've won in court a lot more than they've lost in court. She made a final settlement offer of $1 million to resolve her claims, this according to the documents. But in April of 2021, Geico denied any reimbursement, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so whatever. There is no real. That's all it was. That's all it was. She caught VD having sex in the back of a car that was insured by Geico, and somehow a couple of levels of our justice system in Missouri has decided that Geico is responsible. Fine by me. Whatever. Fine by me. I don't know. I was just thinking. Let's see. What else is trending? Okay, that's divisive. I'm not interested in that. That's divisive. Not interested in that. It's Fursuit Friday. That always happens. Ivanka, divisive, or maybe not, but I don't want to get into her. Sonic Adventure 3. I didn't care about the first two Sonics. Who's FBG Cash? Another Chicago's rap scene is being decimated by street violence. Another rapper who I've never heard of, but maybe he's an actual rapper. I don't know. Chicago shootings, rapper FBG Cash killed, woman wounded in Auburn Gresham. It's a South Side neighborhood. I grew up in the South Side of Chicago. Never been to Auburn Gresham. Never been there. Never had any need to go there. All right, let's see here. Rapper FBG Cash was killed and a woman was wounded in a shooting on the city's South Side early Friday morning. The Chicago Police Department said 2 people were shot, one fatally, at about 5:32 a.m. in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, 1600 block of West 81st Street. Okay. So I was from like 2200 block. What is Tallman? Tallman is probably 2200 block of 81st Street. So this would be, yeah, okay. So this is like half a mile away from where I grew up, and I have never been to this neighborhood. I don't even, half a mile away from my grandma's house where I spent most of my young life there on the south side of Chicago, and I have never been to this neighborhood. So I don't know who this guy was. Maybe you do. Maybe he is a famous rapper guy. I don't know. But he is trending right now, and he died this morning. A couple blocks away from where I used to play in the front yard. No idea. Mitch Daniels. Mitch Daniels is trending. I don't know who this is. Apparently, he's the president of Purdue University. He is stepping down as president of Purdue. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Apparently, some TikTok star has been found dead in a mall parking lot in California. Don't know about that. Okay, so Britney Spears' story is still trending. Then a whole bunch of divisive stuff about the January 6th hearings from last night. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I don't know. There's not a whole lot going on here. We covered Ezra Miller. Yeah, just totally not having any interest in talking about all of the divisive nonsense and all that stuff. A shorter show. It's going to be like this on Fridays. From time to time now on Fridays, we're not going to be doing the entirety of what would normally be a show. Some shows on Friday will be canceled. I appreciate you. I hope you understand that those are just new summer rules, new summer sort of hours around these parts as my responsibilities during the day and at times when normally I would be doing this sort of are new, at least for a couple of months. So let's do that. All right, there you go. Once again, be following or subscribing or doing whatever it is that you do, because should there be any sort of significant breaking news, I will jump on. It's a new thing that I'm trying to do here more of, jumping on during a big national event. God forbid something should occur, but if it does, if you're following me, you'll get a little notification. And then you can sit and you can watch with me as we see the world burn down. We'll be back on Monday for another High Noon. We'll also be back on Monday night for a Kelly Moore Monday. That is where my former partner, Kelly Moore, joins me and James Parker on Pillow Talk. Kelly Moore Mondays are what we call them. And okay, that's it, guys. I got nothing else. I love y'all. Have a great weekend. Got nothing to watch? Watch Peaky Blinders. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. Anything else? Nah, you know what? I'm going to go lay down. I'm supposed to leave here in the next half hour. I'm going to try and lay down for 20 minutes because these allergy pills they're scrambling me a little bit. All right. You guys be well. Have a great weekend. Try and stay cool because it's going to be really hot. And we'll see you back here on Monday at noon for another edition of Pugs and Company Present High Noon here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Oh, Jeff, hold on. Yeah, you know what? This should be addressed. Jeff Ballard says, so are you not going to do late night scanner? Okay. I really want to, Jeff, and thank you for bringing it up. I wanted to do, or at least try, a late night scanner show because I'm a scanner nerd. Like I'll just lay in bed and listen to a scanner. And I thought, why couldn't I? Maybe there might be some people who want to listen to these scanners with me. So I have honestly, there is a possibility on any Friday night that I may break in with a late night scanner show, depending on, I particularly listen to the Chicago Scanner, which is a lot of fun. Actually, I listen to whatever the most listened to scanner is in the nation. And on Friday and Saturday nights, that's almost always the Chicago Scanner. And it is just filled with some of the most, it's just mayhem. It's just mayhem and people screaming over the radio, and it's very exciting. So I thought, wow, this might be a fun listen for people who are interested in such nonsense. So maybe from time to time we'll do it. So thank you for reminding me of that, Jeff. That is definitely something that could possibly happen. Friday night, late night police scanner here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come.
have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel